Hey guys, it's Sissy from Sissy Prints. Thanks for coming back. So today I'm going to show you how I went about carving and then inking. Here I'm showing you the outline that I had created with my pastel pencil, and I had used the small V-cut knife to create the incisions there, and I know where I can do it. I prefer this gummy material more and this gray one better, because the brown one that I was using was not as flexible. These, on the other hand, were very flexible. That's my Star Trek one. And here you can see the brown one. That one's Harry Potter, and it's also not as flexible. And the Yoda, which is completely black, Linocut, also had the same issue where I could not create very fine lines, and that was the big part of the Yoda Linocut, were all the fine lines. But with this material, it was really difficult because it wasn't as flexible. And then when I was going to ink it on fabric, because the main point of it was to be able to do it on tote bags, well, because of the surface and the material of this linoleum, it didn't really work out. So I had to go back with a thicker V-knife and cut more into it, so a lot of the intricate detail was lost. But here I had already done all the fine work with the V-knife, number 1, and here I'm using the number 3 U-knife, or U-cut, I don't know the technical terms. And I'm just getting rid of all the material that I don't want to show. So with Linocuts, you remove the stuff where you want it to be white or a different color, and you leave what wants to be black. So here I was removing all of the sides so that the faces could be seen, and I really wanted it to be like an outline, just line art. And it took me quite a while, to tell you the truth. Looking back at the videos, these are all sped up, obviously. It took me about 30 minutes for me to do all this work, because the surface is quite slippery. So I had to continuously hold one side of it while at the same time jiggling sometimes the knife, because I had to be very careful with not removing some of the parts. And with this material, it was easy to make a mistake, and some pieces, like Rachel's inner mouth, were taken off. They would just crumble off. So I had to be very careful. And then I was also debating what I should do with the owl, how much I should leave, how much I should leave out, how I should angle the knife so I can leave some of those ragged edges so you can really see the fine work and make it feel like they are feathers and really feel like an owl. So that was a difficult part. And I mean, I really didn't have a plan per se when I started. I had the sketch, and that was great, but I wasn't quite sure what I wanted. That's usually how I approach projects. I have a general idea, but when it comes to specifics, I really go with the flow and see what looks best at the moment and make adjustments as it goes. I think that's just the best thing. If you think too much about your projects, then they become too big sometimes. You can be overcome by so much that you want to get done. Well, if you just have a general idea and then go with the flow and just do not think. That's what I always tell my students. The best thing is to not think. Don't think, and then it becomes a flow. It's more like a meditation. And I must say, Linocut, oh my gosh, you just get into the groove once you know what you're doing, like right here. And it's just so relaxing to carve into this material. At times it's difficult, and it depends on how sharp your knife is and how you angle it, but it is so relaxing. During this whole process, which was an hour, I would say, of just carving, I really just let my mind wander, and I was contemplating and trying to find solutions to current situations that I'm in, and try to find a peace of mind. And I was only able to do this because I was focusing partially on what my hand had to do. And so here I'm switching back to the smaller V-knife real quick to get rid of all those details. But now on to inking. This is such a fun part. And I'm using the universal block from Hahnmühler. Here I'm showing you the block. It's loose sheets that are attached by glue, you could say, on the edge. It's Hahnmühler Universal Media Block, and it's 310 grams, so it's quite thick paper. And one side is very rough, but I like to do the prints on the softer side. On the rough side, you get this nice grainy texture, which is great for watercolors, even acrylics, or even pastels is better on the other side also, I prefer. So here I'm preparing my workspace. I'm getting the ink, which is water-based Linocut ink by, I forget the name of the brand, I can put that down below. So I have my soft roller. I actually prefer to put ink on with a soft, cheap roller that I bought at Action. And as you can see, it's like magic. Boom, the image is appeared. It's like right there in front of you, all this hard work, because before, you know, it's all the same color, so you can't really appreciate all the fine lines. And that's what I love about Linocut, all these fine lines that you get to see, like the rest. You can see the motion in it. It's active. It's not just there sitting there on the page. It's moving. And here I'm just adding more ink, because you need a whole lot of ink for it to really stick to the paper and transfer the image. So now that I've done that, I put it back on another fresh, clean workspace. That's why I have that cardboard underneath it. And I grab my page, which is looking from which area you can release the page from. And I'm going to carefully place it on, because once it touches the ink, you cannot move it. So I always have one hand on it, and I'm just thinking, sorry for my head there. How should I best transfer it? So I just, go with the flow and grab a salt shaker. It's not the best, but since this was just a test page, thought why not? Who cares? There's my lovely ear, as you can see me going and pressing, and I move in circular motions here while I'm trying to transfer and get all those fine little details of the owl and those lines. As I said, I love those dynamic lines that are left on a Linocut. And the final reveal. Are you guys ready? It makes that sweet noise. Oh, there it is. And the owl turned out amazing. And I love the little remnants of the border that are on the bottom. I think it creates a heaviness to the bottom. But poor Rachel's mouth. I need to go back and fix that, see? I had hoped to get a little bit of the lines from underneath to come out, but I didn't press enough. I really need to get a hand press so I can do this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a blast. I love creating these things. I would really appreciate if you guys could leave a comment of what should be my next Linocut. Any suggestions? I love doing movies and characters, fictional characters, my rendition of posters. So let me know what you guys would like to see, okay? And I really appreciate you coming here and checking out my channel. I will be posting next a watercolor session, time-lapse, that a friend of mine will be coming over, and we will be painting something. Who knows what that is? We always come up with the idea when we're there at that moment. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was so awesome to create it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.